This video lesson is about concepts on chords, or specifically chord theorems. Okay, so given a circle A, drawing 2 points B and C, then connecting them, or magdodraw tayo ng isa pang point doon sa chord at i-connect natin sa center. So, anong pwede nating malaman or anong dapat alam natin dito? So, the theorem reads the perpendicular to a chord theorem. The perpendicular from the center of the circle to any chord bisects the chord. So, kung ito daw, line na to ay perpendicular sa chord, ibig sabihin nagpo-form ng 90 degrees on both sides. Ito daw ay naghahati sa chord sa dalawang equal na parts. So, if this is 90 degrees, then these two segments are equal, or segment BD is congruent with segment DC. Let's have an example. In circle O, angle ONQ is a right angle. So, nasan ba yung angle ONQ? Okay, i-trace natin. ONQ. Then, lagyan natin itong symbol na to para alam natin na right angle siya as given in the problem. Then, M stands for measure. Measure of segment NQ is 3 millimeter. Where is segment NQ? NQ. And it's a segment. So, line yun or part ng line. So, ito yun. So, this is 3. Now, can you call segment OP a bisector? This is OP. Yes, it's a bisector because the line is perpendicular to the chord. Next, what can you say about the measurements of segment NQ and NM? Okay, this is NQ. Where is NM? NM. Since OP is a perpendicular, it's a bisector of the chord. Therefore, segment NM and segment NQ are equal. Next, in the same circle, what is the measure of segment NM? Segment NM is 3 millimeters. What about the measure of segment MQ? So MQ is the entire chord. If a part of it is 3 and another part is 3, therefore the entire chord is 6 millimeter. Now, if the measure of segment ON, okay, this is ON, is 4, so that's 4, what is the measure of segment OQ? Okay, so in this case, in a triangle wherein two sides are given, hinahanap yung pangatlong side. Pwede ba yun? Yes. And since this is a right triangle, what do we mean by right triangle? One of the angle measures 90 degrees. Then we can make use of the Pythagorean theorem. So C squared equals A squared plus B squared. The question now is, asan yung C, yung A at B? So C happens to be the longest side. A and B can be the two other sides of the triangle. So in this case, OQ is the longest side. ON and NQ can be the sides, right, or the legs. Others would call it the legs. Segment OQ squared is equal to 4 squared plus 3 squared, which is 16, and 9. That is equal to 25. Since segment OQ squared ito, dapat i-extract yung square root ng both sides para makuha yung segment OQ lang, and which is equal to 5. Next. Another theorem states that there is an angle bisector. So, the bisector of a central angle subtended by the chord is the perpendicular bisector of the chord. So, ibig sabihin, kung kanina na-establish na natin na perpendicular ito, hinati itong chord na to sa dalawang equal parts. Kapag nag-drawing tayo ng dalawang line connecting the 2 points of the chord to the center, this angle is also bisected or is also divided into 2 equal parts. Magiging parehas lang daw sila ng sukat. Okay. So, ibig sabihin, angle BAD is congruent with angle CAD. BAD and CAD. Next. In circle O, angle ONQ is a right angle. So, i-trace natin ulit, angle ONQ. Lagyan natin ng symbol na parang box or quadrilateral. Parang ibig sabihin ay 90 degrees. Bakit 90 degrees? It's a right angle. Then, the measure of angle NQO. So, i-trace naman natin si NQO. NQO is 40 degrees. So, saan natin ilalagay si 40? Doon sa pinakagitna, NQO. So, dito sa lugar ng Q. Next, can you call segment OP a bisector? Yes, because OP is perpendicular again to chord MQ. Next, what can you say about the measurements of angle QOP and MOP? They have to be equal. Kasi nga, bisector din ito. This line is also a bisector of this angle. Knowing that, so, ano pa yung mga dapat alam natin? What is the sum of the inner angles of a triangle? That's 180 degrees. Teka, nasan nga ba yung triangles dito? And ano yung inner angles? So, if we look closely, that's one triangle with OMN as angles. And then there's another triangle with O and Q as angles. So, itong tatlo na to kapag inad, 180 degrees. However, alam natin yung isa na 90 degrees na, which was established earlier. So, ibig sabihin, itong dalawa, pag inad natin, 90 rin. So, going back. So, how do we get angle QOP? So, 180 minus 90 minus 40, and that is 50 degrees. How about angle MOP? And since they are the same, parehas lang daw, it's also 50 degrees. Next. The third theorem, the perpendicular bisector chord to center theorem. So, the perpendicular bisector of a chord passes through the center of the circle. Ito daw, bisector na to, yung nag-bisect dun sa angle at saka dun sa chord, dadaan daw palagi sa center. Now, another concept will be regarding the length of the chords, yung haba naman daw ng chords. So, distance chord theorem. Chords are congruent if and only if their distances from the center are equal. So, magiging parehas lang daw ang dalawang chords na ito, yung BC at saka EF, kung parehas lang sila ng layo from the center. So, ano yung distance from the center? That refers to DA and GA. So, if segment DA is congruent with segment GA, then, alright, the chords will have to have the same length. So, segment BC is also congruent with segment EF. Another is, so na-establish natin na parehas yung distance nila from the center. Meron pang isang magiging parehas, the chord arc congruence theorem. So, the minor arcs are congruent if and only if their corresponding chords are congruent. So, this time, ang parehas muna dapat yung chords. Ano ba yung corresponding, ano ba yung magiging minor arcs nila? Yung nasasakupan din nila or yung katapat nila. So, if this is the chord, asan yung kanyang arc? Ito yun. So, same letters pero different figure. When we say segment BC, we refer to the chord. When we say arc BC, we refer to the part of that circle corresponding to that chord. Similarly, this is segment EF, the chord, while this is arc EF, a part of the circle. And since parehas daw yung ating mga chords, magiging parehas din yung mga arcs nila. And, let's have another example. In circle O, segment OQ is congruent with segment OT. Okay, so we put that symbol. Ibig sabihin yan, similar or congruent. The measure of segment PR is 5 units. Where is segment PR? All right, then it's 5. While the measure of arc SU is 40. Where is arc SU? Tandaan, it's arc. So it should be the part of the circle, part of the circumference of the circle. So ito yun. And it is 40 degrees. Now find for letter A the measure of segment SU. This is segment SU and it's a chord. And since segment SU has the same distance with segment PR from the center, then it has to have the same length as that of segment PR. So 5 din siya. Since itong chord SU ay kaparehas ng layo doon sa center, nung segment PR, magiging parehas lang sila ng haba. So, the measure of segment SU is 5. What about the measure of arc PR? Nasabi na natin na parehas itong dalawang chords. So, magiging parehas yung kanilang mga arc. Therefore, it's also 40 degrees. All right, that's it. Thank you.